What I often see in companies is that there is not enough time, freedom, or process around what should be done. Meaning there aren't enough voices at the table, strategic decisions are made too quickly, people aren't willing to fight out up front what should and shouldn't be worked on, what product should be built, what marketing strategy should be. And in many cases, it's A, because people don't like conflict. B, you have leaders with large egos that think, I made the decision, this is the way it's going to be. And C, you have team members that don't want to step up and take responsibility for the fact that they can participate in what the outcome of these decisions should be. And so many times we rush into, passively, the decisions, and then what happens is you have team members that are upset or hurt or frustrated and things aren't going well, and so we execute passive-aggressively. You know that you've seen cases where you're working on something where people are unhappy and they're grumbling, and in essence, we're self-sabotaging the effort. And in many cases, it's because those folks weren't part of a process of deciding what course they should have been on to begin with. So take that example, which happens all the time in companies, versus violently and aggressively fighting out for what the best idea should be, and having lots of people at the table and lots of voices. And instead of having a 1-hour meeting to decide what to do, maybe take 4 days, 5 days to decide what to do, and have yelling and shouting and screaming and whatever it takes to come to the best answer. But then when you do come to that answer and people have really had a chance to put their opinion in, you execute violently, which means you don't look back, you don't question the decision that was made, and everybody is on board and they're violently executing to get to that outcome that they said they were going to do. And in the vast majority of cases, if we ideate violently and execute violently without questioning the decisions that were made because we were all part of that decision-making process, versus not including enough people, not having enough discussion, and then having all this passive aggressiveness and anger and self-sabotage in the process, we're in every single time going to get to better results. To accomplish the first part of the equation, which is the violent ideation, a couple things need to happen. First off, the leaders of the company need to recruit and bring on team members that are going to be comfortable and proactive about disagreeing. And in fact, you have to be a leader that's going to say, I want you to challenge me, I want you to question me, I want you to push back on everything. I just want you to be a team player that once we make a decision, we know that we're not going to go back and sabotage what was done, and we're going to do our best to be successful in the course that we picked. So the first part of it is recruiting those people. The second is being clear about your intent by communicating, but also through process to encourage that discourse. And so you can say you're someone that, hey, I encourage feedback and people criticizing me and people pushing back. But if you don't do things like set up a meeting to let people do that, or if you rush into product or marketing or business development decisions too quickly, where you don't let people do that, or if when people bring up that feedback, you quickly shut them down, then you haven't actually created an environment that allows for that. And the third part of the process is that the leaders can't be the ones that always get their original idea through. The ideation needs to be a true meritocracy. And so if consistently the leader's original idea is the one that the group always goes with, then there's going to be less incentive to want to participate in this violent ideation, in this meeting of the minds, because people will feel like, well, yeah, they brought on me as someone that would be willing to disagree, and they set up these meetings, but they always go with their decision anyway. And if not every time, but at least enough of the time, people who disagree with an initial decision get to change the course and modify what the goals are and develop what the new strategy should be, then in almost every case, people are going to feel empowered and excited about that process, knowing that by participating, they're going to help create a better outcome.